In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the Bodak is described as a deathly pale creature with white or grey skin, devoid of any hair, and with a face deformed into a twisted visage of madness and pain, with empty, milky white eyes and a gaping mouth. Since the Bodak are created when a humanoid has been destroyed via the touch of something pure evil, their appearances can differ depending on the type of humanoid, but all share those common features. They're undead creatures bereft of personality or souls, becoming cruel and relentless hunters who seek out the living either out of pure hatred or at the behest of the evil creature that turned them. While they can be created by any sufficiently powerful evil creature of undeath, the Bodak were originally a creation of the demon god Orcus, whose minions create them and then loose them upon their enemies to spread the plague of undeath to the living. As such, the Bodak tend to view the minions and priests of Orcus as non-enemies. However, as is the nature of all things originating in the Abyss, this immunity is not always guaranteed. The Bodak has an AC of 15, 58 HP, and a speed of 30. They have great stats for an undead creature, with the expected negative in intellect. They have proficiency in stealth and perception, aiding them in hunting creatures, and they have multiple resistances and immunities. They can speak Abyssal and the languages they knew in life, and as a bonus action they can activate Aura of Annihilation, which deals 5 necrotic damage to anyone who ends their turn within 30 feet. Their Death Gaze trait forces any player within 30 feet that can see them to make a DC 13 con save, or else take 3 to 30 psychic damage. If they roll an 8 or lower, the player drops immediately to 0 HP. At the start of a player's turn, they can choose to avert their eyes. However, doing so causes them to be at a disadvantage to strike. The Bodak is also sensitive to sunlight, taking damage and gaining disadvantage to attacks and ability checks. In combat, they make either a fist or withering gaze attack. The fist deals 3 to 6 bludgeoning and 2 to 16 necrotic for a total of 5 to 22, while the withering gaze procs a DC 13 con save that, if failed, deals 4 to 40 necrotic damage or half as much on a save. As a DM, I would use the Bodak either on its own as a powerful low-level creature, or use multiple as minions to a more powerful demon, undead, or summoner. I would have them stealthed if possible to try and surprise the party, which will cause everyone to have to make a Death Gaze save on their first turns, and also lose their actions. The Bodak should always be using its bonus action to activate Aura of Annihilation in order to deal passive damage to melee players, and then on its turn should always use Withering Gaze. I would only really use the fist on those with higher con saves, but honestly the Withering Gaze has a higher damage potential overall, and its minimum damage is only 1 point less than the fist. In addition to this, players with higher con who are going to succeed on the save tend to also have higher AC, making the possibility of a fist completely missing much higher, thereby increasing the utility of Withering Gaze. The real danger, however, is its passive Death Gaze, as on every player's turn they need to choose whether to brave the save or attack with disadvantage. In modern Scottish and Irish Gaelic, the term Bodak translates loosely to old man. However, the term originally was used to reference a tenant farmer or cotter, a serf or peasant who worked the fields for their local lord or clan leader. However, the Bodak as a creature is more of a trickster or bogeyman spirit who comes down the chimneys of bad children to kidnap them in the night and sell them into labor. In other tales, the Bodak is more of a playful trickster spirit who riddles with people and tricks them into giving up the location of their valuables, only to steal them later on. While the more modern interpretations of the Bodak are cautionary tales or tales about pranks, the original usage of the term Bodak in mythology is twofold. The ancient Irish gods called the Tuath Jedanan have a member known as Mananan Maclir, who acts as a warrior king sea god, and who would often take the form of a Bodak, an old man, when appearing before mortals or to trick his fellow Tuath Jedanan. In Scottish lore, however, the Bodak Glas, or the Old Grey Man, is a specific bogeyman who acts as an omen of death similar to the Grim Reaper of today. In comparing the monster to the myths and languages, we find that the Bodak of D&D is closest in relation to the Bodak Glas, or the Old Grey Man of Scottish folklore. Both are pale grey undead creatures that herald death, but while the Bodak of Scotland is merely an omen, the Bodak of 5th edition is a bringer of death and a creation of Orcus, and is yet another malignant and soulless undead creature in D&D. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like and comment below, and consider subscribing to the channel. You can also join the Patreon for $1 a month to access videos days before they're posted here, as well as other exclusive stuff like short stories, videos, and more.